to encourage you planters to say this: no matter what happens within our culture, no matter what happens outside of the four walls of the church, no matter what happens on the inside of the four walls of the church, there's always going to be a pressure to make you change your values. There's always going to be a pressure to make you question in the back of your mind: did I say the right thing? Did I pray for the right thing? What is going on? You need to have some endurance. So some practical tips that I want to give to you is number one, I want you to make sure you already have your values in your heart before you launch. I want to ask you to, really pray, really consider, but before you start your ministry, what makes you you? Okay, every church is supposed to make disciples, right? Every church is supposed to preach the gospel, but what makes you unique? How has the Lord gifted you? How has the Lord inspired you? How has the Lord shaped your life? What experiences did you have growing up? What spiritual gifts do you have? What leaning do you have? What is the flavor of your church? And I triple dog dare you to stick to those values even when things get messy. And so secondly, with these messy values and things changing, how do I get the values and get the DNA from me transferred into the life of my people? And so secondly, I want to triple dog dare you to articulate your values well, but then I want to say, and articulate them often. Articulate them well and articulate them often. So as a university professor, and one of the things I love to do on our first day of class was go over the syllabus. We go over the syllabus and we dive into the course, and we'd have a good time doing it. And I remember as a student, after that first time of the professor going through the syllabus, I never looked at it again, and I probably didn't do well in that course either. But when I became a professor, one of the things I did is I went over the syllabus every time we gathered together in the class, because I'm assuming that these values that I want to instill in you, that you probably didn't take the time to read it yourself. So for you as an aspiring church planner, my second question to you is: how often have you purposed in your heart to say, these are our values of our church, and regularly I'm going to be communicating this to my leaders? One of the things we did in our church is we call it boot camp. Anytime we gather large as the entire leadership team, we call it boot camp. And what we do is we literally call on people at random. Hey, you, stand up, please recite the vision of this church. And of course, some people don't get it right the first time. They got to sit down, and other people are fine. But the goal is, I want you to regularly keep these values in your heart, because if they're going to be the pillars on which the church is built, then definitely on a leadership level, we should know them by heart. Right. And then definitely you as a planter should be able to recite it from memory. So if you're going to have this epic vision statement that you spent some time crafting and diving into, you should know about heart. Then you should challenge your leaders to know about heart, so that eventually your members, your congregation, and the community around you wouldn't just know it because they've heard it, but they would have seen it lived out, in the lives of your members. Thirdly, how do I want to challenge you? I triple dog dare you to add some weekly rhythms to your life, things that are naturally at work sometime between Sunday and Saturday, that actively have you, pressure you to live out your values. Like for us, we desire, it is part of our DNA to be cultured. So I want to challenge you in ways in which I've challenged our church body. It's particular neighborhoods in our city that are very affluent, that are very well. I've challenged people in our church body, hey, to live out what it means to be cultured, would you live in a different part of town? Would you allow your kids to go to a different school district? And so that it's naturally a part of your life. Naturally, I have to interact with it. Naturally, if I have my children in this course or in this school, I'm going to have to interact with parent-teacher nights, and I'm going to have to interact at the ball field. Find some weekly rhythms to add to your life. And then lastly, my last point, if I could challenge you about living out your deepest values, I would say, where are these values found in the Word of God? Where are those values that you have deep in your heart? Where are they found in the Word of God? And how have you allowed the Word of God, committing some things to memory, to wash over you in times of conflict, in times of cultural pressure? Have you allowed these values? They're so deep rooted on the inside of you because of the time you spent into it, the time you've spent studying, the time you spent researching and learning from other pastors, people on YouTube, books you've read. Have you allowed the Word of God to keep you rooted to the values that God has placed on your heart, as what it means to live out your deepest values as a planter?